And making news today, we came here to Nashville to make the announcement of our newest hire. And this is a man, do we have any LSU fans out there? This is a man that was an All-American at LSU. And with head coach Nick Saban, had a pick six interception touchdown return to cap a national championship, went on to be a 10-year pro in the NFL. He's got a huge personality, depth of knowledge of SEC football. Born and raised in Baton Rouge, and now your analyst on SEC Nation, please welcome Mr. Marcus Spears. Hello, Marcus. Grab that mic right down there, my man. And by the way, I mean, how about the fashion statement on Spears, busting out the powder blue?
I outdressed Joe today.
I mean, this guy can bring it every which way. Say hello to Nashville.
What's up, Nashville? I wore the powder blue in commemoration of y'all city's colors, right? Shouts out to my wife.
So Marcus is going to be one of our star analysts. We're great to have him. He is just the best. What are those socks? Wow. And joining Marcus on SEC Nation is arguably the greatest living college football player. Two-time national champion, Heisman Trophy winner, and one of the most popular athletes that our country has ever seen. Please welcome to Nashville from SEC Nation, Tim Tebow.
How we doing, Nashville? Wonderful to see you. Hi. Thank you.
Do you think he hears that often?
Hey, babe, I need you to do that next time I come out on stage.
Mrs. Spears, everybody. How about an I love you for Marcus? Well. Look at this dynamic duo. We got the big defensive lineman and the movie star quarterback. Now, you never had a chance to run after Tim.
Nope, I'm glad I didn't.
When you were in Dallas, when I was in Denver?
No, I wasn't there either. No.
You're already in Baltimore.
Listen, first of all, I'm glad I didn't have to play you, all right? Because I don't know. Florida actually beat us the year we won the national championship.
That's true.
So with you there, we might have not made it. We might have got knocked out of BCS computers.
What do you think about when you remember his years with the Gators in the SEC? You were off in the NFL, but this guy was as popular and famous and taking storm as any NFL player there was. What do you remember about Timmy when he was doing his thing in games?
You know, one big thing for me, I always respected his character and his competitive nature. I think that's what made him better than everybody else in college. It's only a few players that come along in years that you see that special that people will remember for years to come, and he was one of those guys. You know, I really feel like we just saw another one lead the SEC, and you see how long that took. You know, I think Manziel will be remembered for a long time after he's done. But I think, you know, Tim won 2 national championships, was a Heisman Trophy winner, left the Florida Gators in great shape. And he's one of those guys. They'll probably erect a statue of him. They're probably trying to get the funds together to erect a statue of him right now, I would think.
You know what I remember about Marcus, though, thinking back, given I was probably like 10 watching him when he was in college, but
not that old.
I don't see any gray in that beard yet.
I do remember when they were playing Oklahoma in the national championship game, and Oklahoma came in with I think the Heisman Trophy winner, the #1 offense to ever play college football, I believe, that
Jason
year.
White.
Yeah, Jason White, and then I rember you picking up the football, you spinning and running to the end zone, and I always wanted to tell you we got to work on that celebration.
I wasn't used to being in there. And I was
It
gagged.
was a solid spin move, though.
I had to get an IV after that.
Well, I think it's going to be great to have you guys on the set. Of course, Marcus, the national championship at LSU. How about playing down there at Tiger Stadium when you would go in there?
Oh, Death Valley is one of the toughest places to play. It's I remember going into Death Valley, and you're going to have 100,000 people chanting things that aren't necessarily extremely nice. And I can remember my was it my senior year? No, it was my sophomore year. We went to Death Valley, and we get off the bus, and we're going in, and we're at the family line, and we're hugging our family, and it's supposed to be family and friends, and so I'm hugging my mom, my dad, see my siblings. I'm always right behind Coach Meyer. Coach Meyer is hugging Miss Shelley, his wife, and right after he hugs her, he turns to walk away, and two LSU fans got into our family section, and so Coach Meyer's walking away, and they had 2 cups of beers, and they throw it on him, like on his suit and everything, and Coach Meyer turns around and obviously he didn't do anything. He handled himself super well. But when you're going into Death Valley, you got to be ready for anything. And
you can remember that, but I definitely know those 2 fans don't remember it.
They didn't even know it happened.
No, they don't know it happened.
So this is what we're going to be doing, guys. Saturday mornings, we're now going to be traveling around the SEC, and we're going to go from school to school. The one thing we promise on SEC Nation and SEC Network is we are your show and we are your network. So we're going to visit every single school in the first 4 weeks. All 14 teams will be on our air, and we're going to travel around. Can you imagine what it's going to be like showing up, the 2 of you, Fine Bomb, the energy and passion that's in this league, week after week at the biggest games with the set? It's just great. There's nothing like SEC football.
Well, I think you look at the SEC and you look at the tradition, the passion, the excitement for all these teams. Not just the top 2 or 3 teams, but all the teams in the league. And it's so exciting, and it's exciting for us to be a part of because I didn't only play in the SEC, but I grew up living it. I grew up a huge Florida fan, and living and dying with every single game, and that meant so much to me. And you know what it's like being in the SEC, not just to play in it, but to live for it. And so many other conferences and teams, it's they root for their team and they hope their team wins, but in the SEC it's just different. You live and die with your team, and it means more than most other things in life, and that's why I think this show is going to be awesome.
Tim brings up a great point, and I've said this a couple times when you and I have been on the road in recent months. The NFL is the biggest and the best in terms of quantity and pure eyeballs, but pound for pound, there's nothing like SEC football. I mean, the passion, the intensity, and the commitment, and what it means to the fans. Nothing touches SEC football in American sports.
Well, to reiterate what Tim said, they live it. They live this almost like a religion. I mean, it's you go and it's an infection.
Not quite, but close.
Yeah. Forgiveness. It's popular. All right. But in a serious note, you guys make our jobs a lot easier because all we do is portray your passion to the rest of the world. That's all we do. And this thing is full circle for me. It's funny. I get announced on this show, and my first game as a freshman at LSU was at Neyland Stadium. And it brings it home for me to see.
Come back to say it, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm telling you, Tennessee's been good to me, And but when we start going to these college campuses and we get on the road, the most exciting thing for me, and I know it's a big part for Tim too, is that we never got to partake in the festivities. We never were able to see. We would hear as players, you wouldn't believe what goes on this campus before a game, And now I'm looking forward to it.
I did get to partake in a little bit. I remember my first trip to Neyland Stadium. I was a junior in high school, and I was getting recruited by the University of Tennessee. And so after we finished our game on Friday night, me and another one of my friends jumped in the car, and my dad drove us all night to a game here at Tennessee. And we showed up to the game, and we were there all day, and we walked around. We saw everything, and we figured everybody was getting ready for the game, so no one talked to us, no one said anything, so it was okay. So we went through the game, no one said anything, and we after the game, we went back into the locker room and saw the team, and no one said anything, and so they were talking to other recruits, but that entire day, not one coach said a word to me, and I walked out of that locker room, and I looked at my dad, and I said, I can't wait to come back and play this team. Because we just drove 8 hours, and no one even said hello to me. And I look forward to it. So I hope this is a better trip for me to Tennessee than that was.
So among taking in the festivities, I can imagine we're going to have some great dinners on Friday nights in all these wonderful SEC towns. We're going to rate barbecue throughout the year, I can imagine. A few weeks ago, three of us got together and had a great dinner. And what I was most pleased with there was the fact that the two of you sat back for 3 to 4 straight hours and just talked ball, strongly opinionated, talking football, debating hot topics, coaching trends, offenses, position play, strategy. This is the first broadcast gig for either one of you. You're coming in together. People wonder about you, Tim. I've heard people say, but can Tim Tebow be critical? Can Tim Tebow be critical? I don't know that I've heard stronger football opinions in recent dinners and hanging out with somebody than Tim Tebow. And Marcus, you got a great football IQ, but there's nothing like just talking ball with guys that know it well, like your new partner here.
Well, I love it. I love to talk ball. You know, I've been around it my entire life, and especially talking SEC football. I don't necessarily know that it gets any better, and it's something that gets me excited.